In today's video, we're going to be talking about pre-workouts. Should you use them? What are the differences? And I'm going to be putting a few to the test. And stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to give you a free resource that's going to really help you understand pre-workouts better. Hey there everybody, it's Fahad here from Fit with Fahad and TFF Fitness, and in today's video we're going to talk about pre-workouts. Now pre-workouts are a popular supplement, but should you be taking them? And I am going to compare what I currently use with some of the more popular pre-workouts on the market. Now before we get started, I am going to say the following things in the interest of full transparency and full disclosure. The current supplement that I am using pre-workout is a supplement called Amped Nitro by Isagenix. Now, Isagenix is one of those home-based multi-level marketing companies, and my wife does build that business. So I have a vested interest, but I'm not going to promote it. I am going to give you an unbiased review of why it's good and even the bad points of Isagenix Amped. Okay, so let's crack on with the video. Okay, so the first question is, we've got all of these cool, funky pre-workouts here. They come in really shiny tubs, crazy artwork on the labels. They look like atomic, nuclear, toxic things, right? And, you know, they do suck you in with their marketing a little bit. But let's first of all discuss, should you be taking a pre-workout? Well, let me be brutally honest with you. Most people who are casual trainees in the gym or who are just starting out probably don't need a pre-workout. If you need a kick to give you a boost in training, a black coffee before training is probably going to be sufficient to give you that kick. So why do people take pre-workouts and why do I take pre-workouts? Well, there are a few ingredients in pre-workouts that are useful, and we're going to cover those ingredients now. No, I've not been to a dodgy massage parlor, but I've just taken something called Beta-alanine. Now, if you've ever taken a pre-workout that contains Beta-alanine, you probably have experienced that itchiness in your face, and that's called paresthesia. Now, what Beta-alanine does is it produces something called carnosine, and Beta-alanine is regularly put into pre-workouts for the reason as it acts as something called a lactic acid buffer. And what that means is when you start pushing out reps and you start feeling that burn, what Beta-alanine does is it kind of like gives you a little bit of a buffer so you don't feel that straight away, meaning you can probably push out a couple of extra reps. Now there has been some small research done to indicate that Beta-alanine can increase muscle mass and reduce body fat, but that's more as a side effect due to the fact that you're doing more volume and putting more output. Now if we look at the different supplements, Optimum Nutrition has got about 1.5 grams of beta-alanine in it. C4 has got about 1.6 grams of beta-alanine in it. And the Amped by Isagenix has got 1 gram of beta-alanine in it. Now the ideal dosage of beta-alanine in pre-workout supplements has been said to be around 3 grams. So all of these fall short. However, the stuff I'm using currently, Amped, probably has the least amount of beta-alanine. Now I will be honest, when I take it I do feel the beta-alanine paresthesis kick in, so for me it should be enough, but for somebody who's a lot bigger, who's a serious bodybuilder, it might not be enough. The second ingredient that's really popular in pre-workout supplements is something called citrulline malate. Now citrulline or citrulline malate basically again has been touted as a lactic acid bufferer. However, what citrulline malate actually does is it basically creates something in the body called arginine. Now arginine then basically, although it has been touted as a lactic acid bufferer to increase workout volume, what citrulline malate has been shown to do in research is reduce muscle soreness. So from the point of view of recovery and reducing muscle soreness, I remember listening to an Iraqi nutrition podcast once where he interviewed somebody about citrulline malate and they were touting about the lactic acid buffering effects of it. However, the study papers I've seen don't show conclusive evidence to prove that it has a significant lactic acid buffering effect, but it can reduce muscle soreness. Now these supplements are also very, very high in caffeine. However, these three particular ones have different amounts of caffeine in them. So coming in at number 1 for the most caffeine per dose is Optimum Nutrition with 175 milligrams of caffeine in it. Number 2, we've got the C4 with 150 milligrams of caffeine in it. And number 3 is the Amped with only 80 milligrams of caffeine in it. Now, although the Amped has the least amount of caffeine in it, I would recommend having less caffeine, and I'm going to tell you why now. We need to understand that caffeine is a stimulant that a lot of us have. Now, when it comes to fat loss and when it comes to overall body composition, we have to take into account stress factors and stress levels and cortisol levels in the body. And because caffeine acts as a stimulant that a lot of people take, so you might not just be taking the pre-workout, you're probably having 1 or 2, maybe 3 cups of coffee a day, you might be having a Diet Coke or whatever. The caffeine levels in your body do amount, and as it amounts, what you have to understand is this can have a negative effect and a detrimental effect on things like sleep, because caffeine has a half-life of around 5 hours. That means if you have a cup of coffee at 12 o'clock, which has got about 100 milligrams of caffeine and 80 to 100 milligrams of caffeine in it, by 5 hours after, so 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to have half of the amount of caffeine in you. So you could have about between 40 to 50 grams of caffeine. And then by 10 o'clock, when you go to bed, you might have 20 to 30 grams of caffeine in your system. Now, if you're having tons of caffeine throughout the day and you're having a late night workout, you're working out after work, say 5, 6, 7, or even 8 o'clock, and before you work out, you have a very high caffeinated pre-workout, such as the Optimum nutrition, that caffeine is not going to be out of your system for at least another 10 to 15 hours. So for the first 5 hours at least, you've got a lot of caffeine buildup in your system, which is going to have a negative effect on your sleep, which is then going to have a negative effect on the actual recovery process, the fat loss and the muscle building things that you want to put in place. So it's very important, if you are working out after 12 o'clock, to look at a lower caffeine variant of a pre-workout, or try to find a stimulant-free pre-workout. There are a lot of caffeine-free pre-workouts on the market now due to the demand, because this knowledge and information has become widespread by popular and very respectable personal trainers and fitness coaches in the industry. There are still people touting that you should be having pre-workouts with high caffeine, it's not going to cause a problem, but these are the ones that aren't as educated and the ones that unfortunately are following the marketing that the supplement companies are putting out there, because at the end of the day, supplement companies just want your money, right? The next thing we're going to talk about is arginine. Now, arginine is put into pre-workouts as a vasodilator and it's supposed to promote blood flow. However, studies have shown that there isn't much support to prove that arginine is useful as a sports performance enhancer. So to have it in a pre-workout, there's debate whether it's necessary. But just to give you an indication of how much is in these supplements, C4 has a gram, Amped has a gram per serving, but Optimum Nutrition only has 250 milligrams, hardly much at all. The next popular item in these pre-workouts is creatine. Now, there's no other supplement on the face of the earth that has had more research done on it than creatine. Creatine has got so many positive effects that I can't even list them on this video without this video being an hour long. We might need to make a separate video just on creatine alone. But let's talk about it from the point of view as an ingredient in a pre-workout. So when you start working out, or when you start doing any physical activity, whether it's in the gym or just running, or being chased by dogs and sprinting away from them, your body has to create energy, quick energy. And the first phase of creating quick energy in the body is something called the creatine phosphate cycle. In other words, there are creatine stores inside of your muscles which the body goes to first during bouts of high intensity exercise. So somebody like a sprinter would be using, for the first few seconds of that exercise, the creatine phosphate cycle. So they would use the creatine stores in their body to create energy, and then they go to the glycolytic pathway using glucose as an energy source. So creatine, for example, if you are trying to lift heavy weight, if you're doing reps in the gym, the first couple of reps you're going to do, that initial explosive energy is going to come from creatine. So if you've got more creatine in the muscle cells, you're going to have more explosive power. This is why creatine supplementation comes in, and this is why creatine is such an important supplement in pre-workouts. Creatine also increases something called cell volume. It basically lets the muscle cells hold on to more water, so you get that fuller effect, it's more hydrated. One of the key reasons why you gain weight early on using creatine is your body's holding on to more water. So don't be confused into thinking you're taking creatine and all of a sudden you start gaining muscle straight away. It takes time to build that muscle. That initial weight gain is still from water. There have been studies done on endurance exercises with a small amount of improvement in endurance. However, from a point of view of using creatine, it's probably best in short exercise bursts such as high intensity interval training, sprints, and in the weights room. Now, the supplements that we've been using have different various amounts of creatine in them. So both Amped and Optimum Nutrition have 3 grams of creatine per serving, whereas C4 only has half of that at about 1.5 grams per serving. Now, you want to be looking at taking 0.3 grams of creatine for every 10 grams of body weight. Now, one thing Amped has that the others don't have is something called ornithine hydrochloride. Now, what ornithine hydrochloride does is it helps as an ammonia bufferer. And why this is useful is potentially it can help with endurance training. So if you are a runner or you're doing cardio and you want to improve your endurance capabilities, ornithine hydrochloride is potentially helpful in that respect. And it's the only pre-workout out of these ones that has that in it. So if you are into endurance training or cardiovascular training and want to see an improvement in performance, Amped might be better for you than the others. Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard, on the other hand, has something called acetyl L-carnitine that the other supplements don't have. Now, acetyl L-carnitine hasn't got a lot of support when it comes to being useful in a pre-workout. There are some weak studies to suggest that it can help enhance performance and reduce muscle damage. However, the muscle damage studies have been done on elderly population and haven't been tested on an athletic population. C4 has got about 200 milligrams of L-tyrosine in it. Now, L-tyrosine helps with mental clarity and focus. It's a nootropic, so it can help you keep that mental focus and alertness. I remember when I first took L-tyrosine, I couldn't sleep. It's quite a good supplement. However, it's only got 200 milligrams in here, so it's not a lot. Okay, so there were the comparisons between the 3 supplements, and I'm going to now tell you why I take the Amped product, what I think about the Amped product, and then we're going to wrap it up and I'm going to give you a little bit of a treat. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you which supplements I've tried out of these ones. I've tried C4, I've tried Optimum Nutrition, I've tried various other things like No Explode, I've tried the Red Noise products by Redcon, and I've tried a few other pre-workouts. I've tried them with caffeine, without caffeine. Do they make a massive difference in my training? I'm going to be honest with you and say no. They don't make a huge difference in my training, but they do give me a little bit of an edge. Now, when you come to a point in your training where you're looking for every little advantage you can get, that even that 1% improvement and enhancement is going to help you. So starting out, if you're just starting out with training, do you need to invest in pre-workouts? Probably not, okay? I will be honest with you. Now, when you're going throughout your journey and you're looking to optimize every little aspect of the game, then you should start looking at things like a pre-workout. There are much better supplements that you should be worried about in the early stages of your training than pre-workouts, no matter what the marketing tells you, no matter how cool the logos and labels look. Now, why do I use Amped and what do I think of it? Okay, well, I did say at the beginning of this video that my wife does promote the Amped products through her Isagenix online business. Okay, so of course I'm going to support my wife. However, I'm not going to use a product if I don't think it is decent. I put it to the test. I liked it. I liked the fact it had a low caffeine content. It did everything I needed it to do. I'm not the biggest guy, I'll be honest with you, so I don't need a high dosage of a lot of the stuff that goes into pre-workouts. However, if you are a bigger person, if you're very serious about bodybuilding and you're huge, you're swole, you're jacked, okay, it might not be enough in there for you. However, then you've got to look at the ingredients in a lot of these things, and a lot of them are quite low compared to the recommended dosages based on science, and I get my science from examine.com. So would I recommend Amped? Listen, it's like any of these supplements, okay? You've got to try them out for yourself. And if you like them, if you get on with them, then use them. I don't think that there's one supplement or that's the king of supplements when it comes to brands and when it comes to things like pre-workouts, fat burners, proteins, etc. What I do think is you just got to find something that is a decent quality product, that has got a good reputable name to it, that uses quality ingredients that you enjoy taking, because you're not going to take stuff that tastes like crap. And saying that, the Isagenix stuff only comes in one flavor. I know C4 comes in a few different flavors. I'm not too sure if Optimum Nutrition comes in various flavors, but if you are someone that really likes having different flavors, then maybe the Amped might not be yours unless you like that watermelon taste that it comes in. So with that wrap up, before I go, I want to share with you a special treat. When I did research for this video, I put together a spreadsheet comparing the different products that I reviewed in this video, and I put together the science behind everything, the recommended dosages, the dosages in each product as a cheat sheet for you to download. If you go in the list below, if you go in the description below, you will see a link to that cheat sheet. It's yours for free as a thank you for watching this video. So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching this video again, and I want to ask you, as I usually do, that if you found any of the content in this video valuable, if you found it entertaining, if it helped you in any way, shape or form, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you learned. Let me know in the comments below if you do take a pre-workout supplement, what you take, what you tried. I'd love to hear from you. But above all, and I know I'm going to say this every single time at the end of every video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification so you don't miss a single video, because it helps me grow my channel. The higher growth I have on the channel, the more YouTube's going to push this content out, and the more people I can reach and educate just like you. Okay, so have a great day, sweat more, suck less, and stay awesome.